there goes. Come on. Okay. Well, I'm not always going to be recording in an empty room, but here we are. There's this quiet moment where most women in business don't talk about. It usually happens when you're well into success and clients are coming in and money is more consistent. You're booked, but maybe you're even praised. But you wake up one day and you realize, I can't keep growing like this. I remember mine. Mine was a Tuesday. We were mid-launch. I had clients calls packed from literally 9 to 7. My inbox was full. My Stripe notifications were going off, which felt great, but I also felt entirely hollow. Not because I wasn't ungrateful. I was really grateful, but because I realized that my business didn't have the structure. It had survival problems. And it wasn't built in strategy, it was built from a reflex. And so that's what today is about. Because once you've crossed that number, the game changes. Whether it's 250 or it's 300, your client acquisition strategies have to evolve with you, not against you. So let's first talk about what client acquisition is. Client acquisition isn't about visibility or sales psychology. It's how your business receives new clients. And it's about whether your model is designed to attract or if your model is designed to exhaust. So if you're watching this and you've ever said, I don't want to chase anymore, and talk about a true feminine expression. If you think about your last date, or you are in the dating world, I think that it's very reasonable for a lot of us to say things like, I don't want to chase somebody anymore. I think there's this recognition that we desire this dynamic that honors the depth and the breadth of what we bring to the table. And I find that that's a rarity in the dating world. And so we bring that into our business and we almost mirror it. So if I say some of these sentences that almost feel like dating, I almost will encourage you to look at how you're dating your business. Would you continue into a marriage with it? Because it is an entity, it is an expression, it's an extension of its own energy capacity, but it's been created by you. And it might be mirroring some unconscious or subconscious pieces. So if you've ever said, I don't want to chase anymore, or I want a business that honors me, or I know how to get clients, but I just don't want to keep doing it like this, then this is the conversation for you. Because I want to show you how to bring in clients without abandoning yourself, without sacrificing yourself, without dying on your sword. So let's break this down into 3 strategies: magnetize, contain, so feminine boundaries, and convert, movement. These aren't tactics, they're frequencies, and they're frequencies that your business holds in its own entity. So when we're talking about magnetizing, I'm not talking about sitting in the corner like Tony Robbins often says and saying, there are no weeds, there are no weeds, there are no weeds. You don't need to be more, but you need to be known for something more specific. So magnetism in client acquisition is coming from clear messaging that mirrors the way that your dream clients have these unspoken thoughts. Now, usually when I tell somebody that, they usually look at me and say, yes, Rebecca, I totally get that, but I don't know how to articulate it from myself. I totally understand. Because oftentimes we need somebody in the room that is able to understand us in a way that is more complex, with more richness and depth, and takes the time and consideration to do that. Magnetism in client acquisition also comes from a deep expertise that is structured with framework. Now, again, a lot of my clients will say, I know how to do it, but I don't necessarily have the core framework that you're talking about. How do I get there? Another aspect of magnetism in client acquisition is a brand that says, I've done this before and I know where we're going. And that's where the presence starts to do the selling, not your push. A magnetic business doesn't beg for attention. It holds the center and invites the right people in. I'm gonna bring dating into it. I know. But you could be sitting at a coffee shop just taking in the day and looking at the birds or the butterflies and just looking at the ways that the clouds are moving. You're not begging for attention, but in that essence, you will have a high value man approach you without a second thought. She is relaxed, she's embodied, she is radiant from the inside out. And that is the most beautiful quality you could possibly ever embody. But as a business owner, we oftentimes don't give ourselves the time to create that nervous system release. Why? And this brings us into stage 2, but why? Because most women are feeling a leak. They are constantly answering DMs, they're looking at their messengers, they're writing from scratch, they're hopping on quick calls, they are getting questioned at every corner, and they are engaging with every lead. And if every lead requires your real-time energy, it's not a business, it's a performance loop. The structure is in the feminine form. It's where you can hold it in a way where you've already made everything possible. There's a flexibility. So a feminine container really looks like she has a discovery process that is structured, that filters in safety and alignment. She has a signature offer that is truly her own, and it carries her voice even when she's not on. And these templates and workflows that honor your client without overgiving yourself, without always having to jump in and fix all of the things for them. The container isn't cold though. It has a warmth that is very inviting, kind of like the woman that's sitting in a coffee shop. She's trusting the ways that she has created those systems, and she's releasing her hand in the pot and trying to fix everything and trying to control everything around every corner. Because when you have this like beauty where you're just breathing it in and really receiving it, and then waiting to witness, okay, what are some of the pieces of engineering that I have to shift a little bit? Those are the fine-tuning mechanisms that will change your world. And I can't even express to you enough how much of a release this is for a lot of clients, because when you can sit with that and you can see that there's an opportunity to structure those pieces, which is a hard gap actually. I mean, it's one of those things that unless somebody actually starts to talk to you about it, your mind kind of just assumes that this is the way business should be. But it'll keep you in that cycle of 250 to 300, and you won't get actually out of it. Or it'll keep you in a cycle where you have these really high volume months and then nothing in between. And that is not where the feminine really thrives. The feminine thrives in this layer of consistency that also meets a depth and a breadth that is her, because what she's looking for from the outside to be recognized is oftentimes the beauty that she's able to witness in the spaciousness of her own creativity. But unless we actually take some of that spaciousness and peace and really pour into ourselves, we won't get to that creativity and recognition of where we actually want to go. Okay, so stage 3, we want to convert. We want to turn that curiosity into commitment. So conversion isn't about pressure. I mean, it is for a lot of the boys out there, and this is part of where the differential being a female agency owner is very, very different. Conversion isn't about pressure in my world. It's about permission. In a well-structured business, your clients feel safe enough to ask questions, clear enough to make decision, and supported enough to begin without full clarity, but also having the support that they always know that they can turn to. And this is where we can elevate your client journey, because when you pre-qualify, it protects your energy. If you're getting on the phone with people that don't have the money, the means, or the opportunity to actually really build up into the space that you get to scale with them, it doesn't feel like it's embodied for you, and it doesn't feel energetic either. An interesting thing too that I find with a lot of women is that when our sales pages don't sound like our soul, or our sales pages don't express the way we really desire it, we feel like we are creating something that is false as a narrative. So those pages need to express. They might not even look perfect, but they express really, really well. That's important. Your follow-ups are going to invite. P.S. I really hate that F word. Ugh, follow-ups. When you invite, you're not chasing, and there's a big difference with that. A yes in the feminine is not a conquest, it's co-creation, it's collaboration, it's sisterhood of development and back and forth. And that begins with how your business speaks before you even show up. So if client acquisition is starting to feel heavy and you're feeling like you're drowning in your own business, I want to ask you to regulate. So pause. Not because you feel like you're failing, but because you're trying to scale with tools that belong to your past self. And at this level, the work is not more effort, it's elegance, it's embodiment. When we magnetize and we contain and we convert through pressure, it doesn't feel like ourselves. But when we do that in a way where we're inviting, there's this precision and there's this presence, you almost start to dance again. And that's all I want for you. I think that all of us really want a business that gets to dance and receive as powerfully as what you give. And the structure where you can allow yourself to exhale and breathe allows you to actually begin to scale. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but here we are. So that cost of softness that you're exchanging isn't necessary, because that's the piece that made you magnetic in the first place, my dear. So I hope this is something that is going to light up your world. I have included a little bit of a guide in the bottom of the Feminine Framework for Client Acquisition, so that you can kind of use this as a reference guide. I also included a couple of ChatGPT prompts for people who are looking to really optimize that next level and starting to look for self-development, and for those who are looking for self-development and leadership in a different way, in an easeful space. So all my love, and I'll see you at the next one.